Hello to you and welcome to the Land of Reiki and Aroma channel. Today we are be talking about flower essence and autism. Stay with us, we are just going to start. Hello to you and welcome to Land of Reiki and Aroma channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending when you'll be watching this recording. Today I have a pleasure to have my teacher in here, Rosana Souto. She worked with flower essence a long time and she's an icon in Brazil about this subject. And specific today, we are going to talk about ASD spectrum, and I would like to welcome Rosana, and it's a pleasure to have you, and I would like that you introduce yourself, tell a little bit about you, Rosana.
Hello, I'm glad to be here, and thanks, Saul, for this opportunity. Well, I am Rosana Souto, Saul has already said, and I graduated in chemical engineering. Okay, so I'm chemical engineer with a specialization in innovation. I have always worked with inventions, but I quit my career to dedicate myself to the study of flower essences a long time ago, 33 years ago, to be exact.
Okay. Wonderful. 32 is a long journey, is a lot of stories, a lot of experience, and as we are mentioned before we start our video, that if we let the times go, Rosana has so many things to share with us that we are maybe one video or 1 hour or 2 hours will not be enough. So we are just getting one of a little bit of her knowledge about her experience using flower essence with the ASD spectrum. So with further delays, we start with the first question. Why flower essence? When flower essence arrive in your life?
Well, I have since childhood, I have always wondered what life should be. You know, I have memories of myself being a child and looking to the stars and wondering why I was here. And when I had a break in my engineering career, I was living in Toronto, in Canada, and I've heard about Dr. Bach and his flower essences. And I may say that I had found myself in a train, going back home. I have just read a very summary of his work by Julian Barnett. And that little book, The Guide to the Bach Flower Remedies, has shown me why I was here. It was a strong emotional catharsis that from that time on, I have decided to quit my career as an engineer and dedicate myself to this study because I have finally understood that life wasn't just to grow up, to reproduce, and die. There was much more to do in life.
Wonderful. It's very nice. It's so Exactly. Wonderful when we can really find our purpose in life, what our life mean, and mainly mean for us, né? Because we always thinking what myself mean to somebody else, but it's much about what is your mission in life, né? Internally.
Yes, for
And
sure.
the second question today, how many systems do you teach or work?
Well, I have always understand Dr. Bach's legacy in a broader way because as an engineer at that time, Brazil wouldn't grant patents of invention to products when I was a patent examiner. And so when I've learned about Dr. Bach and his simple methods of preparation, essence preparation, uh, I realized that his legacy was much more than his flower essence range, the Bach flower essences, because I see the work of Dr. Bach and nearly all researcher, flower essence researcher, as an extension of his work. And so my love is for many,
Flowers.
many ranges. In the 90s, I have become, well, I have opened myself at first, as many of you for sure, I have started through the Bach flower essences, okay? But um soon later, I have opened myself, and so I have studied the Flower Essence Society essences, so Californian essences, bush essences, Alaskan essences, and I have introduced the FES practitioner training in Brazil, as was I was one of their first authorized teachers to implement their training, their educational training in other countries. And this was my role in 2003. I have given the first training in Brazil. And also, Bach Healing Herbs, I am an authorized teacher of this program too. And also Alaskan Essences of Steve Johnson and Saint Germain Flower Essences, our dear national range. Okay, I'm also an authorized teacher and practitioner of more than 20 something years, nearly all the existence of the range. Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of flowers because when we start to learn, first of all, the Bach flower remedies, there is 38 to you that you need to focus to um, experience and know what they are good to. And when you amplify your repertoire, become a lot of information that you need really to practice to really understand. And I need to pick up this one, I need to pick up another one, which one will be make this beautiful bouquet, because flowers for me is flowers, doesn't matter which system it is important to see the variety, the diversity, and the properties of each one, Rosana.
Yes, yes, for sure, for sure. And since I see them as an extension of Dr. Bach, I see many of our researchers, even Ian White in Australia. He was the tool to bring us the healing properties of the Australian bush essences, as Neide Margonari here in Brazil, and so many other Brazilian researchers, because in Brazil we have many, many flower essence research ranges, okay? They are extensions of this wonderful work of the healing work of the flowers, okay?
Great. And another question, as you have been treating and supporting people in the different issues, when was the first client that you saw that was in the ASD spectrum?
Okay, well, first of all, education has always come to my practice. And since my very beginning, I have worked with children with learning difficulties. Okay, and so my experience also at social work was with children with learning disabilities. But when one day I had already 16 years of practice, a mother came to me and she asked me if I could attend her son. At first, I thought it was a case of drug addiction, but no. Her son was, at that time, we used to call a classical autistic young man. Okay, this was in 2005, and his condition was very severe. He was a typical classical autistic with every stereotypes and every commitment that we normally find today with the level 3, with a severe level 3 uh, ASD people. Okay, but so my first client was a very critical one in 2005, and we have worked together for 4 consecutive years. And since he hasn't conditions to attend a regular session, his mother or his aunt would come to me every 2 weeks. And so it was a very close therapeutic process, a very close and intense learning about autism, because at that time I knew nothing. And at that time also, autism was seen in a very prejudiced way, and people used to keep their children, their son, at home. Today, we are promoting and sharing information to inform people about ASD, so the treatments and the interventions can be much earlier. Okay?
Yeah, so
Yes.
it was like a something that I remember this, that the people used to put the people far away, apart from
Yes.
society, and
Mhm.
now we are including them. So with this, is much more um, things become much more like a clear for everybody, and everybody start to accept the condition, or not just this condition, but many different conditions, and include the people, and no be let them behind or hidden them, and no, don't touch about them, and no to ignore their
No.
existence.
Yes. We really need to work on information and inclusion, and to show people this diversity and include diversity in our lives. Because uh, at the end, we are all unique. We are all different from each other. Okay, so we need to accept diversity. Okay,
Yeah, it's very like you say, the flowers, né? Every
the
flower
flowers.
is different from each other.
Yes,
That diversity is in the nature, is part of the nature. So we are not detached from nature. So every single one is like a flower. We have a different thing, and we experience the world different. And no one is better than another. It's just represent diversity that is mirror all the time what we see in nature, right?
yes. Well, I just want to add, so because this client was a milestone in my career, okay? Because his development was so impressive that there were times that I would ask myself, what as if we have started earlier? How should have been their lives? Because for you to have an idea, my client hasn't got sick since he had entered the autism spectrum. Okay, And one of the first signs that he was coming into life again was when he got sick. He had a pain, and instead of getting worried, we celebrated because we knew that this was a very important step of his healing process. And his achievements were so impressive that his mother could finally return to life too and have a social life with friends, because this family has tried every therapeutic tools at that time in 2005. Okay, but when she reached me, and they have already tried everything, and nothing could have helped him at that time. So flower essences were like the last hope. Okay, but flower essences don't need to be the last hope. It can be hope since the very beginning. Okay, because his achievements, and some of his achievements, last until today. Okay, my client didn't watch television. He wouldn't sit at home. He wouldn't embrace his mother, and he didn't have conditions to go outside. And now, and from that time on, okay, he started doing everything. And of course, he still needs support, but it's quality, it's life quality, even for the severe cases of autism. Okay?
Very good. It's wonderful when this is so beautiful to see the person blossom, né? Go in, because
Sure.
if he was living inside his world, that he was close to the any interference, and also close to any interaction, né? Social interaction. Né? It's so
Yes.
beautiful see someone blossom in that way, né? Open like a flower, né?
Yes,
To the
it's fantastic,
is
because our goal is always to give to the autistic person conditions to have an autonomous life.
Mhm.
Okay, and despite being different, because different we all are,
Yeah.
but we need to be autonomous, to know not to put the house on fire and so on. Okay. And that's it. And from then on, I've started promoting the use of flower essences and teaching about the use of flower essences for this public.
Mm.
Okay, and he was my great teacher and introduction and post graduations in autism too.
Yeah,
I
it's
would
wonderful.
say yes. I'm very grateful for his family.
Okay, so my question was, can you tell me more about the support that Flower Essence are giving for families and people? Because we just complemented what we are just telling uh,
Yes.
about giving for families and people with the ASD spectrum.
Yes. Well, today autism shares a very different reality than that time. Okay, and autism prevalence all around the world is increasing too much, to that point that in 2013 the American Psychiatry Association launched another version, the DSM-5, featuring the characterizing the ASD, because ASD is an spectrum. Okay, and we have different levels of these conditions, but mainly the commitments in social interaction and communication, and this repeated behavior and movements and focus on specific subjects. And so we have this spectrum. And in 2017, people start looking for me and for my experience, because I had already closed had already closed my office, my physical office. I was doing other things like traveling and writing and so on. But the call for help from mothers was so intense that I have launched a social initiative, a free social research initiative, and a remote one, the Blue Garden Project. And nearly at the same time, I have started as a volunteer in a social institution in Brazil that helps very poor autistic families and their children, of course, with flower essences, because flower essences address every age, okay? And at Ampara, for instance, we have very young children, babies from 2 years old to adults from 24, 26, okay? And flower essences can address them individually according to their needs, no matter the age. So today, Brazil has a protocol of early diagnosis of autism. And autism is now being diagnosed in an age about 18 months, okay? But not everybody has the condition to start, behavior therapeutic practices like ABA, applied behavior analysis, and other methods. And some of these interventions that already exist, they need a certain age to start, okay? And some of them demand, at least 24 hours per week, okay? Yes. And so how can you submit a young child to that intensive training, let's see, behavior training, okay? So the wonderful thing about flower essences is that they are a product that can be applied since birth. And so the importance now is to promote and to inform parents about the alert signs, okay? Because babies, mothers know sometimes when, her baby isn't, responding very well to commands, and they are reciprocity. I don't know how to say this. They don't.
Doesn't have a reciprocity between.
Yes.
You say something and they don't do it. No?
Yes, and so to the latest signal, alert signal, we can help this baby and this mother with flower essences, and so we gain time. The very important thing about flower essences that we can help these babies in their adjustment to earthly life, because as you have said, life on earth is very challenging and dense, for these light babies from now. And we can put the flower essences in water, in the milk, or simply use them in massage oils. And so this is a kind of intervention that can be applied since birth, okay? While these established interventions, already known interventions, we demand certain age to be, applied. There are some methods, as early intervention methods, that, they are already available. But for instance, in our reality in Brazil, parents, poor families cannot afford to, these develop these therapeutic approaches. And so,
It's a long
yes,
time to the parent to take the children. Is expensive, and many times it's not available in the area that they live neither.
yes.
So
So,
is not something like easy, that is not.
no, it's
It's
not
a long
easy.
process.
It's a whole process. And so the more we inform about early signs and intervention, the more we instruct the parents about autism, the better the results, because uh, the babies have a time where the brain can make adjustments more quickly. And so flower essences are, like blessings for them.
Mhm.
Okay.
Wonderful, wonderful. And how the people can contact you, and if you have any plans to for workshops related to the ASD spectrum for next year?
Oh, yes. Well, I'm finishing my new website, which will be Rosana Souto Treinamentos, Rosana Souto Trainings, but with trainings, with also trainings. And I would say that you should follow Saul and myself, Rosana Souto, because, well, next year I will invest on sharing information and trainings on this area more. Okay.
And
That's it.
do you have a plan to translate your lovely book to English?
Well,
You can see that
well,
it was very close to me. I take for very quickly,
oh
It's
yes,
here, very
yes,
easy.
yes. So, and I'm writing a book about autism and my experience about with flower essence and autism, and this will be my focus for next year too. And I'm planning to launch it already in 2 languages, in English and
Ah,
Portuguese, because we truly need this information. And to work with this increasing population of autistic children, we need to break the rules, because Dr. Bach himself was a man supported by freedom. And we cannot have a proper approach of each one if we need to follow rules, you know? And with a typical children, we need to think out of boxes, And so we need freedom to address them in whatever they need without prejudice. Oh, this can't be. No, we cannot combine. We can, and we must do what is possible and necessary to help this public without rules. And so my, my great challenge with this is to, to tell people that there are many ways of practicing flower essence therapy, and we need freedom to address properly our beloved autistic children. Okay?
yes. Yes, wonderful. Thank you so much for take your time to be here and share a little bit of your experience, your life, and your friendship with the flower essence, and what is so lovely. And thank you so much. And I hope to see you other times in here to,
Oh,
to address other things.
thank you so much, Sol. And
Thank
we
you.
see each other. Okay, bye bye. Thank
Thank you.
you.